Hey there everyone, this is Carrie with Any Day Blessings, and today I'm going to give you a flip through of Trail Guide to U.S. Geography from Geomatters. This is going to be just a flip through of what comes in the pack and what the curriculum offers. I'm going to do a separate video on how we're actually going to use it because we are going to change things up a bit. I am going to be bringing in things from Knotgrass and Memorial Press, and I'm going to be leaving out a few of the things that came in this pack. Now, I did not purchase the full pack from Geomatters. What I did was I was able to find online on Geomatters' website a complete flip through, a full digital copy of their manual here. And in doing that, I discovered that there were tons of printables in the appendix that we were allowed to make copies of. So I did not purchase the 2 student consumables that come with this course. So I'm going to just highlight what comes in those resources. I'm going to tell you how they are meant to be used, because I really want this to just be a walkthrough of the curriculum itself. I will save all of those how we're going to use it things to the next video where I show you how I'm going to use it, but I just wanted to highlight that. That's why I don't see them here, because when I looked through the teacher's manual here, I discovered that I really could save that money and just run photocopies and things like that. Okay, so what comes with this program? Well, first of all, let me back up one second. If you're not familiar with Geomatters by name, if you've heard of Cantering the Country or Galloping the Globe, it's the same publisher, okay, that publishes these trail guide courses. There are also Trail Guide to Learning courses that are complete full curriculum options, or maybe not complete, I don't think they include math, but they are much more inclusive than this. This is just geography with little tidbits of history and an optional literature unit at the very end. So this is not a unit study, this is mainly just geography. If you're looking more for a unit study approach, cross-curricular approach, Galloping the Globe or Cantering the Country would be a better pick. What comes in the whole pack for this course is the teacher's manual, an atlas, Eat Your Way Through the USA cookbook, 2 student consumables, and the optional literature book. If you buy the whole pack, all that comes together. Now let me first tell you about the 2 consumables that you do not see here. One is called a student workbook, and it is actually a PDF download, and it does not come in a printable ready-to-use form. It comes as a download. I could not find it in printable form on the website. If you can, please feel free to leave a direct link to that, because I could not find a version of the workbook that came already printed. It just came as a PDF download. And then there's a student notebook that does come in hard copy form. Now, what is the difference between the 2? The student workbook is what you would use to actually answer the questions and do the activities in the formal lesson that's prescribed here. The student notebook is a resource for the student to record independent research, independent assignments, things like that. There are directions for giving those assignments in this, but it's kind of left a little more open to what the student wants to research and what they want to find out about. So I was a little confused for a while as to why there were 2 different student consumables, but after really looking through them, I really feel that that's the difference. One is used with the formal lesson and one is used with more independent research. So hopefully that helps. Okay, I'm going to pull away the cookbook. I'll show you that in a little bit, and the atlas, which is absolutely beautiful. And I'm just going to start off by showing you the course through the teacher's manual. This course here is set up for several age ranges. Let me just go to right here. This course is set up for several age ranges. You can see here if it's close enough. There are directions for grades 3 to 5 all the way up through high school. So the way that you tell what activities you would do is to find the corresponding little footprint. You know, this is Trail Guide. We're tracking tracks here, so we're tracking bird tracks. Oh goodness, I don't know if those are bear claws, and I don't know what these little footprints are, you guys. I'm sorry. I know we follow the bird footprints because we are primary grades 3 to 5 here. So I know we're following those right there. And so that's how it's set up. So this is very similar to like the Answers in Genesis Science series and other all-in-one or multi-grade level resources where there are just certain activities meant for different age groups. So that means this resource right here could be your geography or U.S. geography from 3rd grade all the way through high school. So it really does make it more affordable when you think of it like that. Okay, I'm just going to show you the table of contents briefly because you can, like I said, see a full digital copy of this online. You can see that they break up the discussion of states by region. So this isn't a chronological order of how the states were adopted into the Union or alphabetical order or anything like that. It's regional. Okay, this right here, the appendix, I'm just going to bring this up here in case, oh, sorry about the sunshine. Oh my goodness, guys, sorry about the sun. Okay, so maybe I won't be bringing things up. Those are all the different things I'm going to show you at the end to show you the value of what's in this appendix and really how you could use it as all of your student consumables, in my opinion. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead here to all of this information is very, very helpful in running the course and ways that you can adapt this to different ages, ways that you can encourage your child to do some research, some extra projects, tons and tons of different hands-on projects, crafts, things like that. All of this is just going over different activities that you could do and suggestions for that. They do have a literature unit towards the end of the book that goes through the book, The Captain and His Dog, and that's a story of the Lewis and Clark expedition, kind of told through, I don't want to say through the eyes of the dog because I don't think that's what it is. I haven't read it, but it's involving the pets that he took along, or the animals that he took along with him and discovered. So it's kind of a more interesting, I guess, to the littles if there's animals in it, maybe, I guess. I don't know. I haven't read it, but I just read the little synopsis in the back. Okay, I wanted to show you this part here real quick. This gives you 2 different options for doing the course. 1 state a week or 2 states a week. Now, obviously, if you did just 1 state a week, that would take you more than 1 36-week school year. We are actually planning to do 2 states a week, and when I do my follow-up video of how we're going to use it, I will walk you through how we're going to do that. I just want to show you here the lessons themselves, and then we're going to skip back to the back. The lessons themselves follow the same pattern. So once you've seen 1 state, that's how they all are done. There aren't any tests or anything like that in here. So if that's something that's important to you, you might want to either come up with something on your own or perhaps use some of the questions here as test questions and not as discussion questions, things like that. But there aren't any formal tests provided in this curriculum. The way that it works, they start off with some daily geography drills right here. These are kind of questions that you kind of start the day off with to kind of bring the topic to hand. So, for example, the youngest children will have to answer, what is the capital of Maine and what country is north of Maine? So that will just kind of be a beginning map activity that they'll kind of do to kind of get them prepped and ready for the lesson. Now, your older students will actually do, your middle school students would do these 2 questions, I believe. If I am understanding it correctly, they would do the elementary questions and the middle school questions, and then your secondary students would do all 3 of these questions. And then after you do those, you would come over here and look at the mapping exercises. Now, again, they're broken up by age. So your elementary students are just drawing and labeling a river, labeling Canada, New Hampshire, and the Atlantic Ocean, and labeling the capital, Augusta, with a star. So that is the length of the mapping exercise for a 3rd through 5th grade student. Of course, your middle schoolers would have more and your high schoolers would have all of that to do. Now, in the student workbook, that download that comes with the, or that comes on a PDF, that has a space for your children to answer these questions. It has the directions for mapping right there in the student workbook, and it has a blank state map, a full-size 8.5 by 11 state map for them to do all their mapping exercises on. In addition to that, it also has some places for them to do, I believe, the geography terminology as well. I'm not certain on that, but I believe there's a place for them to do the geography terminology. This is the trailblazing section. This is where your student will start to do some of that independent research that I mentioned. This is where they will give you little tidbits of history and fun facts and things like that for you to discuss with your student. And you can use this information to complete the student notebook pages that ask questions about the state, or you can use other resources, and they provide one for you in the pack, which I'll go over in a little bit. So at this point, when you get down to this trailblazing, this is where you're going to be sharing some information from here, or the atlas, or another resource, or you could look up online. They really leave this open to you to do however you want, this trailblazing section. They give you some things so that you do have something to share, but they do leave it open for you to do other things as well. And then you move on to the next state. So now we're on to Massachusetts, same format. New Hampshire, same format. Trailblazing, questions. Okay, so it's the same format for all these states. The daily questions, you see there's only 4 of them. So there aren't questions for the last day. The 5th day, if you saw the schedule up here, is basically left open for kind of a catch-up day. So you spend some time memorizing capitals and abbreviations, etc. You go over your geography terms and any other projects or unfinished things that you want to do. So they really only schedule 4 days of lessons. And allow that 5th day to kind of be catch up or extra projects and things like that. One of the extra projects that they do suggest is the cookbook, the recipes. So that's why they include that in their pack. I'm going to skip now back to the appendix real quick. I'm sorry, I should have had that. Oh wait, before I go to the appendix, here's that literature unit, you guys. The captain and his dog. So it starts here. Okay, and they give you lessons for doing that literature study. So there's mapping along with it, there's projects, there's vocabulary, and if you're doing 2 states a week, that's a 25-week course. Basically, you'd have 25 weeks worth of lessons. So I think they put that on there to take up, maybe the rest of your school year a little bit. I'm actually going to do something else, and I'll show you that in the following video here of what we plan to do. But that is an option to do that literature study. Okay, so the appendix. This is why I'm not purchasing the consumables. Because if you look at the student notebook, now that would be the independent research time, that trailblazing time, okay? These are the exact pages that are in the student notebook. This is the older students version, and they had a younger students version, I believe, or maybe they didn't. No, they didn't. So they just have the older student, or maybe this is just the younger students version. Guys, I don't remember. But they only have one version of this, of the student notebook page here. But then they have Go Team Go. Now, my little sports crazy boy would love to research teams based on their sports teams. So there's 2 different versions of this Go Team Go. There's one that's just a little more basic, and then one for the older students. Then this is another option for their trailblazing activities. They can do state your question. So it's just a bunch of questions about the state. I suppose really you could even use this as some type of informal quizzing or testing. There are different levels, one for elementary, middle school, and then high school. This is for their geography terms, their vocabulary. They can make an illustrated dictionary or key. So when you consider all of those printables back there, you guys, really the only thing that's not back there are the 8.5 by 11 maps for you to do your mapping exercise on, and I printed off all those for free online. So that's a little hint at how we're going to do it, but I wanted to show you that was back there in case you might want to save some and not get those student consumables. Now this is the atlas suggest. The atlas that they suggest. Again, you can look at this online as well. I'm just going to show you real quick how beautiful it is, and it has the neatest feel. Like the pages just feel so beautiful, and I just love the feel of it. This has a lot of really good introductory information, and then it has a 2-page spread for each state. It has the basic statistical information about the state population and all of that sort of thing. It has the state emblems and all of that. It has different history, little tidbits and things like that, notable events and notable people along the side. And then, of course, the map where they can do their mapping exercises. So this is the recommended resource for the trailblazing activities, those independent activities, okay? Now, you will obviously use this for those beginning questions for the day when your child has to find the capital or find this river. They'll use it for the mapping exercises as well. But as far as the written content, you will go over this with your child during those trailblazing activities. So you can see they give the recipe and then they give the fun food facts on the side, kind of offering some information about how the recipe came to be or something interesting about the ingredients used in relation to the unit. So this we will actually do on Fridays of our lesson time. So I'm just going to bring everything back in here again. In addition to these 3 books are the 2 student consumables that come with the pack and the literature book. We did not purchase those, but that is what comes with the pack. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to leave that below. I'm sorry if the sound isn't working super good. I don't know what's happening with that, but I will be coming on later to do a walkthrough of how we plan to use this course. Take care.